Hey everybody, welcome to Get Busy Watching! I'm your host, Honest Dan. Let's all go to bingo and talk movies.
Where's everyone going? Bingo?
In commemoration of the upcoming sequel, Resident Evil Death Island, it's still the most generic name imaginable, I'm taking a look back on the previous animated Resident Evil movies. Quick little story before we get into the review.
Let me tell you about an ancient tale.
It's the only one I've seen in theaters, to date, fingers crossed, and I saw it with a buddy of mine. This was something else, let me tell ya. I remember it being, well, definitely not a good movie, but in that it was so dumb and insanely over the top that I absolutely fell in love with it. It became such a meme generator between me and my buddy for weeks due to how many stupid yet memorable moments there were. And I can't wait to revisit it, so let's get started. I'm not crazy, you're crazy. This is my honest opinion of Resident Evil Vendetta. Set between Resident Evil 6 and Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, Chris Redfield, reprised by Kevin Dorman, failed in his mission to apprehend new bioterrorist Glenn Arias, voiced by John DeMita. 4 months later, former STARS member Professor Rebecca Chambers, voiced by Aaron Cahill, has discovered Arias' new animality virus, or A-virus, that has been spreading and even knows how to cure it. However, Arias knows about her research and attempts to sabotage it, killing all of her colleagues, but is saved at the last second by Chris. Knowing they need help to track down Arias, they reach out to Leon Kennedy, reprised by Matthew Mercer, but were followed by Arias' men. Rebecca is captured, and only Chris and Leon can save her and stop Arias from causing the end of the world with his new viral attack.
The wonderful thing about my products is that they know the difference between ally and enemy.
Oh yeah, it's as dumb and as over the top as I remember it. Doesn't quite hit as hard as the first time I saw it with a friend, but I definitely enjoyed myself. The first hint at what kind of thrill ride that I was in for was at the end of the very first scene with Chris and his task force storming that mansion that looks an awful lot like the first Resident Evil game's mansion. By the end of it, all of his men are dead, the woman and kid that he was supposed to save are zombie slaves, and of course he survives, but this is his reaction. Awfully dramatic for a woman he doesn't know personally, but props for the senseless explosion behind him. Michael Bay was brought to tears.
Arias.
Of course, I do have to be a little hyped about this project because Rebecca Chambers has been mostly absent from the Resi franchise since the original game. Oh sure, there's her cameos in the Mercenaries minigame, and there's the potentially non-canon book, Caliban Cove, which I do own, by the way. Actually, I own all of them. Did anyone else read these? Did anyone else even know these exist? In any case, all I wanted to say is that I missed Rebecca, and I'm glad she's back.
Rebecca,
Chris?
you all right?
I can't say that I'm surprised that she put field work behind her and became a scientist in a lab. So recently I saw the Super Mario Bros. Movie, and I disagreed with the use of Peach not being a damsel in distress in the first outing. A strong and capable version of her would be better suited for a sequel. But this movie proves that the damsel in distress trope can be utilized to make the female character important. Not as an object to be rescued, but serve a legitimate function to the story and be a likable character that the audience can actually care about. Rebecca almost immediately figures out a cure for this new A virus and later reveals that she figured out everything that Arius was planning, and leaving behind a roadmap for Chris and Leon to find her. She equipped the men in her story to stop the bad guy and save her. She's a scientist, a former field medic, not exactly a special ops frontline grunt a decade plus later, and she's nice. She's kind of adorable, like a little sister. Also, I love how her casual wear is the exact same design as her Stars Field outfit. Way to keep it consistent, Chica. Your OCD would make my manager proud.
I guess in a way, I've always been interested in medical science. Then one day, I decided to make it my duty to stop people from abusing it.
Hey, is it true what they say? You switched from special ops to science geek?
Kari Wahlgren! Sorry, I like Kari. She's really pretty.
Mommy, help me! I lost the dog and he ran up.
Honey, calm down.
I know, but he ran away.
I tried to get a hold of him, Mrs. Smith, but he just ran down the street. Oh, I saw that dog. He came and pooped on my lawn, and I tell you, if I see him again, I'm gonna give him the what for.
Man, the BSAA's chock full of people with weird resumes.
Outside of Resident Evil 6, this would be the first time that Chris and Leon would share the screen together. One would think this would be an opportunity to see the biggest chads in the Resi franchise being buddy-buddy with each other, but as it turns out, they don't like each other much.
Well, look who it is. The BSAA's golden boy and Dr. High Hopes. The hell do you want?
What do you want, Leon? Cut the shit.
This is likely one of the lesser things about this movie, is the characterization of both men. You're probably wondering why I care at all. After all, I've made it no secret that I'm not the biggest fan of either character, simply because of how overused they are in the franchise. Not because they're lame characters. Well, maybe Chris as of late, but whatever good qualities they had in their personalities, you wouldn't guess they'd have them in this movie. Take Leon. I get by this point in the franchise, he's hardened, grizzled, he's lost people under his command, all that jazz, but to see him moping and doping around, actively refusing to be helpful to those who have been fighting the same fight he has, makes him kind of a prick. Especially considering that neither Chris nor Rebecca were asking him to come with them, but rather to just share information.
Is this what my life's supposed to be? Fighting the living dead and the bastards that make them? What's the point of it all?
And then there's Chris. Again, I feel like I understand what this was going for. Leon's battle worn. He feels the fatigue of the endless war against the bioweapons and their creators, whereas Chris is the Captain Ahab of the story, obsessed with bringing them down. All of which is understandable, but the problem here is the setup. Chris's obsession isn't one I can relate to. The men who died at the mansion weren't men he's been fighting with for years. The woman and her son that were turned into zombies weren't his wife and son. They weren't close to him. Yeah, okay, Arius needs to be stopped, but to crank up his emotions to the degree he does, it just makes him seem like a hothead, and he's way too seasoned in this fight to be losing his cool like he does, especially with an ally like Leon.
Who's the bad guy here?
Arius, and it's our mission to bring his ass down.
Your mission, not mine.
God damn it, Leon!
Stop!
Thankfully, it's just this one scene, but it's so melodramatic. Resident Evil is known for its campy and corny dialogue, but low-quality drama writing, that's actually kind of new for this one. These characters being at odds and having different viewpoints on their mutual conflict is not exactly a bad idea. I just wish that the dialogue was played with a little better, or their anguish, their respective anguish, was fleshed out a little bit more, or just in general made more sense.
I cannot believe how alike you two are.
What are you talking about?
You're acting like a couple of selfish brats right now.
This scene has yet another problem. The very opening of the flick shows Leon among body bags, dishing out an on-brand melodramatic monologue.
When I was a kid, I used to think about the kind of man I'd grow up to be. I never thought my life would turn out this way.
Here, it's revealed that there was a bomb that went off and all his men died, probably turned into zombies. This was because someone in his team sold him out.
Leon, you know that guy I was telling you about? When that sold out me and my unit? You don't understand. This is the guy.
Hello, Mass Effect 2, Garrus Vicarian. Fancy seeing you here.
One of my people betrayed me. Everyone except me is dead because of him.
Yeah, the guy who sold out Leon and his team randomly shows up, hoping that Leon will understand it's because his family was being threatened. Of course, he gets killed not a couple minutes later, so we don't really learn who he is. And this subplot sees zero resolution. We never learn the ultimate fate of his wife and kid. Maybe the implication is that the only thing Arius wanted was for this guy to die. There's a bit more to it than that, but trust me when I say this was pure fluff and could have easily been removed.
He's gonna lead us right to our guy.
What the hell are you talking about?
The name Glen Arius ring a bell?
How do you know?
I'm psychic.
With all that said, this scene has one piece of redeeming value. The movie's overall fetish with severed arms.
Rebecca. Meet Sarah.
I can't begin to tell you how hard my buddy and I laughed when this rando waitress died and her arm flies off and lands so nicely on the counter behind her. This is one of my favorite campy deaths of all time. Another wonderfully dumb trope is when Arius reveals another reason for why he kidnapped Rebecca. And it's not just because she's a threat to his A-virus, but because she randomly looks like his dead fiancée, Sarah.
That's Sarah. You look so much like her.
And then we get the most bizarre and hilarious 30 seconds ever put to film. Let's break it down and watch.
Rebecca. Meet Sarah.
He's so giddy right now. Oh my god, a severed arm, besties for life.
We're going to be so happy.
Who's we? He's so loony right now, I can't tell if he's referring to Rebecca or the severed arm. Or is he suggesting a threesome? Or is he trying to cheat on the severed arm? The insanity of this is so beyond my comprehension, and I can't stop laughing. Rebecca, that's a red flag right there. You gotta abandon ship, girl. I'm calling it right now. This guy has a history of this. He was definitely slapping Sarah. Oh, this guy, he's so lucky he didn't go to trial for this. I can just hear his excuses now.
I did not fucking deck you. I fucking was hitting you. I don't know what the motion of my actual hand was, but you're fine. I did not hurt you. I did not punch you. I was hitting you.
On second thought, I'm going to replace your arm with Sarah's. Maybe that will change your mind about me.
What the? Overload! Overload! I get the kookiness has reached boiling point and it is overflowing. I don't even know where to begin with this line of thinking. I'm not even gonna try. It's a rabbit hole I am not jumping into. It's not even a rabbit hole. It is a black hole of intellect. This is all that Arius is. And to think, he has the cojones to say this not a few minutes later.
Unfortunately, I'm not crazy.
Well, I guess that settles that. He said it, so it must be true. I'm not crazy. You're crazy. We're all mad here.
You belong in a nut house, asshole.
From this point on, it's what these movies do best. Pure, raw action. The city gets overrun with spontaneously turned zombies, the heroes blowing stuff up, an awesome return of the Cerberus monster, then culminating into Leon pretty much causing just as much damage to the city as the bad guys. Dead, innocent people, and you can't convince me otherwise. He's worse than Batman from Batman v Superman.
Who's the bad guy here?
Was the grenade really necessary? I love this movie so much. Then as Chris looks for Rebecca in his hideout, we get the best gunplay action scenes in the entire film franchise. Of course he straight up throws a zombie like we're in the WWE. If Leon can have a signature suplex in RE4, then why should I be surprised that the famed boulder puncher would just toss someone? Of course Leon would just show up in an indoor zombie fight on a motorcycle. He's basically this universe's Legolas Hobbit edition.
Leon, sorry I'm late. Had to take the stairs.
But then a horde of zombies show up and we get just a masterclass of action. Best scene in the entire movie. That's saying a lot because the next one has an over-the-top hand-to-hand with Chris and Arius. Dickhead go splat. And what would a Resident Evil movie be without a final grotesque transformation? Oh, he damn done got himself a second face and everything. William Birkin does look worse, I have to admit, but that's literally because that second head is a result of the G-Virus growing it out of nowhere. But this is still pretty gnarly. You and that motorcycle, fine, fine. Just get to Leon doing Leon things. And here I was telling my bar manager that acrylic nails are not practical. I should really watch what I say around that woman now. It's not like she hasn't killed a man already. Okay, not that that's not the coolest thing in the world, but let's face it, that one shot probably killed just as many innocent people as the bad guys have. Again, the real questions have to be asked here.
Who's the bad guy here?
I take it back. Acrylic nails are amazing and they look fabulous on you. Just don't hurt me. I don't dare reveal how everything gets resolved. Just know that everything ends anticlimactically, kind of rushed, and ends in a way that doesn't make you think anything got really resolved due to plot holes galore, but honestly, that's kind of part of the fun with this one. Film scholars and Resident Evil fans alike would have a field day pointing out everything that doesn't make sense in this movie. I personally choose not to care that much and just went with everything that it threw at me. It's an immensely entertaining film. Is it good? Oh, hell no. Is it the worst of the Resident Evil animated franchise? If we're not counting Infinite Darkness, which really should have been a movie, then yes. But it's arguably the most entertaining of all these movies. I personally adore it for how ridiculous and stupid it is. My honest rating for Resident Evil Vendetta, a 5 out of 5 for entertainment value alone.
Neither one of you are the type of person who would sit here and argue while the world dies. That's not who you are.
Thanks so much for watching, you guys. I really appreciate it. Remember, Resident Evil Death Island comes out on July 7th, so keep an eye out for my review on that movie. In any case, have a great day, stay safe and healthy out there, and hope to see you soon.